Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. If you've been living under a rock, or you're just not a social media type person, then maybe you haven't seen all of the chaos going on around Avengers and Dune coming out. It has been dubbed DUNESDAY in the media, and what that means is essentially everyone thinks it's going to be as big as the Barbenheimer event was. Now, if you don't know what the Barbenheimer event was, essentially Barbie and Oppenheimer came out on the same weekend, and both of their popularity drove people to the opposite movies. And what I mean by that is people that went to see Oppenheimer then went and saw Barbie, and then people that went and saw Barbie went and saw Oppenheimer, because it became this event and this cross-marketing thing where there was posters made with Cillian Murphy's character holding Barbie, and the filmmakers of Oppenheimer were seen taking photos going to see Barbie, and the filmmakers of Barbie were seen going to see Oppenheimer, and it just became like this event where people that wouldn't normally want to see an Oppenheimer went to see it just because everyone was seeing it and they wanted to be part of that zeitgeist moment. And same with the flip side, people that would normally go and see a drama about Oppenheimer and atomic bomb wouldn't normally go and see a Barbie, but they did because they wanted to be part of this event, part of this movement. And everyone thinks that Dune dropping at the same exact time as Avengers Doomsday is going to recapture that magic. And I do have thoughts, I do have an opinion on where it's going to go, but I want to break down just a little bit of why I thought what happened with Barbie and Oppenheimer happened. Now, essentially, those are two drastically different movies. One is a true story about the creation of the atomic bomb and the horror that came from it and the horrors that the creator of it felt after making it. And Barbie is a movie about, toy dolls coming to life and wanting to become sentient, going out to the real world and experiencing what it's like to be human. And it's two drastically different films, but it's because of that it drove people to want and go and see things that they normally wouldn't. Now, one was a drama, one was a comedy, science fiction, almost like a rom-com, if you will, with a lot of heart. Two drastically different films. One was sci-fi, one was drama. With Avengers Doomsday and Dune, they are both science fiction, so a lot of people think that this is going to be problematic because it's not the same thing. It's not like opposites attracting, like magnets, the way that Barbie and Oppenheimer was. A lot of people think that because it's both the same genre, that it's going to cannibalize each other. Now, if you want to look no further, look at Fantastic Four and Superman. A lot of people dubbed that weekend because they both didn't come out around the same time, but it was like a week or two apart, and people were dubbing it super fantastic. It was going to be this event that everyone would show up to see Superman and everyone would show up to see Fantastic Four, and that just didn't happen. And I think that the thing that Doomsday has going for it that Superman and Fantastic Four didn't is they are both superhero films. There's no opposites attract. There's no magnet. There's not two different demographics going to the movie theater that weekend that hear of this movement that go, okay, we only really like superhero films, but I guess I'll go check out this comedy that everyone's going to see. It's not an event because they're both the same thing. So at the end of the day, people that showed up to see Superman were probably more of diehard DC fans, whereas on the flip side, the people that showed up to see Fantastic Four were probably more diehard Fantastic Four fans. And then you have people in the middle like me that like both, that went to see both. But at the end of the day, if you're a family of four and going to the movies costs over $100 and you can only pick one, you're going to pick the one that you think the trailer looked the best. Superman wound up winning that competition with Fantastic Four trailing behind. In my opinion, I thought Fantastic Four was a good family drama, but a terrible superhero film, and I really love Superman, so I get why Superman did better with children. But that's why I think that didn't pick up traction the way that Oppenheimer and Barbie did, because you don't have every fan on the planet of period accurate dramas and every mom, their daughter, and little kid showing up for Barbie coming to the movies and then wanting to be a part of this experience that was Barbenheimer. With superheroes, it's one demographic, so they're gonna pick. With this, although it is two science fiction films, they really couldn't be further apart, because on one hand, you have superheroes, you have the culmination of over 10 years of storytelling colliding, you have old characters coming back with nostalgia. Avengers is going to be big. It is going to be massive. It's probably going to reach the $2 billion mark with the X-Men coming back alone. But the thing that Dune has going for it is, well, Denis Villeneuve, being one of the biggest directors on the planet, who's now going on to do James Bond after he finishes the press for Dune. You also have the fact that Dune 1 and Dune 2 were considered masterpieces, and this is the finale, and finales usually do well, especially when it's following a movie that's as well received as Dune 2 was. And then the third thing, and Robert Downey Jr. said this himself, it's got Timothée Chalamet, and he's just the greatest actor working today. He really is. He's better than most people. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio is my favorite actor of all time, but I would be remiss to say that Timothée Chalamet is taking roles that are impressing me more than Leo. Now, I love Leo in One Battle After Another, but there's nothing quite like the performance that Timothée Chalamet gave in Marty Supreme this year. And kids love him. Women love him. him. Men love him because of Dune. And I just think that even though it is a similar thing like Fantastic Four and Superman, where it's two science fiction movies, one is a more fantasy epic a la Lord of the Rings, whereas Avengers is more like a Star Wars, where it leans way more into the science fiction of it all. And I do think it's going to create an event just as big as Barbenheimer, because like I said, one is coming off the success of Dune 2, and the other one is an Avengers film, bringing back the X-Men, bringing back Steve Rogers, giving us another grounded Thor. It's just two colossal titans going head to head. And the thing that Avengers has going for it, that, let's be frank, Fantastic Four and Superman didn't, is everybody loves Avengers. Men, women, children, and the casuals. The casuals show up for Avengers films. They don't show up for a lot of the standalone films. Clearly, if you look at the box office results for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, and Shang-Chi and Eternals and all that, and even Superman, it made $600 million, but always Avengers films overperform because they feel like events where the standalone films do not, and Dune 3 is an event. So you're having these two titans going head to head. People are going to make a weekend out of this. They're going to make an entire weekend out of seeing both. I've seen t-shirts made for, I've never seen a single t-shirt made for Super Fantastic. I've already seen t-shirts of Iron Man and Paul Atreides high-fiving over like the dunes of Arrakis. Like, I already see it happening. I see it trending on social media. I see it everywhere. The tracking for both of these movies are through the roof. And although Dune, I don't think, is attracting the four-quadrant audience the way that Avengers is, I think because people are already gearing up to go to the theaters to see Avengers, when they get there and they see just how much chaos is going on around Dune, they're going to be inclined to go and check that one out as well. Why is everyone talking about Dune? Why is that the movie that they chose to come out next to Avengers? Is it as good as Avengers? What is this? And I just think that it's going to be a nice pair of magnets that are pulling together, and it's going to create a massive box office weekend, probably the biggest one of 2026, and for the foreseeable future, for the next couple years. It's going to create a box office unlike anything we've ever seen. I think it's actually going to be higher than Barbenheimer. There's also the little caveat of some people are under the belief that one of them is going to move, that Dune isn't worthy enough to stay next to Avengers, and I don't think that that's true, because again, it is the same audience, and I think that it's creating enough hype that it's going to benefit both films. I don't think Dune's going to move. I think they know exactly what they have. They know it's the end to a franchise that is wildly beloved. Avengers would never even consider moving because it's an Avengers film, and movies usually just move out of the way of that, but they're literally cross-advertising each other to the point where Marvel had Robert Downey Jr. go down and literally interview Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. You're literally seeing Iron Man and Victor Von Doom interview Paul Atreides. That's not accidental. Warner Brothers and Marvel are in cahoots with this. They are 1000% working together to make this an event, and I would not be surprised, because I saw the t-shirts like I was telling you about. I've seen them on Etsy, but I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing them pop up in Target and Walmart and at your local mall, because it's just becoming such a big event. But what say you guys? What do you guys think? Do you think that both movies are going to benefit each other, or do you think one's going to cannibalize the other? Do you think one of them is going to move? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And as always, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you next time.